For my entire life, Lake Superior has always been my north line, the thing that separates my actual lived-in world from the world beyond. So last fall, when I was considering where to plan a backcountry canoe trip this summer, I decided it was finally time to make the trip into Ontario. Getting ready to cross the border for the first time in my life. Which is weird because it's not that far away, but first time. Just cruising up Highway 17 here along the east shore of Superior. It's part of the Trans-Canada Highway. There's really big hills here. Like, similar scale to what we see in the Porcupine Mountains in the UP. But yeah, had to switch my truck speedometer into kilometers per hour. And I was thinking of that Nate Bargatze bit from SNL, where he's George Washington talking about the units of measurement Americans are going to use. So silly. What a mile is so arbitrary, but I have a hard time conceptualizing what a kilometer is or how fast, 90 kilometers per hour is. Alright, made it up to Mijinemungshing Lake, Lake Superior Provincial Park. The scenery on the drive up here, as soon as I got a little bit north of the Sioux, Ontario, very big compared to most of the UP. Pretty similar to the Keweenaw, Copper Harbor, Brockway Mountain. But pretty much the entire drive. So anyway, unloaded down at the lakeshore. I think I have the essentials, hopefully more than that, but I'm always worried I'm going to forget something important, especially when it comes to like filming or charging a phone or I don't know. But I have fire, clean water, food, the ability to catch fish. So I think we are good to go. Strong south wind, so I think it's gonna be a little wavy. So getting to the south end of the lake might take a little bit of time. Right on the water. Yeah, we got a line in the water. The website for Lake Superior Provincial has the different canoe routes, and they say wind and waves can pose problems on this lake, and they're not kidding. But we're gonna troll for a while as I make my way to the south end of the lake and look for camp, so I can get rid of this equipment and this canoe, and then just go paddle around in my kayak for a while. Well, thought we had a fish on. Oh, maybe we do. We might. It's hard to tell. I got this cowbell thing. Probably not keeping a fish today. I can only keep one. The license I have, conservation license. And I wasn't going to cook fish tonight. Let's see what it is. We got a lake trout. Got this nice new, really deep landing net here. So give it a try. Nice lake trout. Okay. We'll just try to get him back in the water real quick. Okay, got the fly. All right. Real quick. Nice lake trout. Fare thee well, Laker. Right, found camp finally. It was a little tricky finding the campsites. They're fairly easy to see from the water, but hard matching up the park map with a real satellite map. So, well, there's an actual metal fire ring here with a grill grate, which is nice. Someone out left a wire grill grate there. Cooking my steak easier tonight. Yeah, and actually, pretty good water view from up here. There was one side I went to check out about, I don't know, a few hundred feet across the water in that direction. That was taken. So, seen quite a few paddlers. There's a really big lake though. Got set up and gonna take a nap. It's been a long day. I was up at 4:30. Lots of driving. Really hard paddle. I don't think it took more than an hour and a half, but kind of sucked. Nice lake trout, so that was a good sign. It's a nice campsite. I'm gonna get some rest and kind of get my bearings here, and then hopefully this evening head out with the kayak and explore kind of the south end of this lake a bit. Gotta get those grill marks, bud. Well, day one, long travel day. Sunny and hot and windy when I got here, and now it's raining. But if it rains during the night, that's all right. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. The last forecast I looked at for this area was it wasn't supposed to rain much during the daylight hours. So we'll see. I have everything I need. But if it does rain a lot, I guess I'll just be probably not on the water as much. So I have some very thin oatmeal here, and way more than I intended to make. I poured a cup and a half of hot water into what I thought was you needed 3/4 of a cup of water per serving, so I had 2 servings, and it was like floating. So those were the microwave instructions. I'm not really sure how you would adjust the water if you were just pouring it directly on top. But anyway, Now I have 3 servings of oatmeal, and it's still really watery, but I think it'll taste good. It smells really good. Well, I got a good sleep. I slept till about 9 this morning. I wasn't in a very good headspace last night. I think I was just so tired. I was like, what's the point of this? I'd rather be at home in my own bed. I can go fishing at home, that type stuff. And really missing Sarah and the kids too. Anyway, got a good sleep, feeling much better today. I can't get over the drive yesterday and how big the hills were. It was like driving in the mountains, but the landscape was more like, you know, what we see in the western UP, and even around the Marquette area, a little bit north of Marquette. Big difference I noticed. American Walmart versus Canadian Walmart. So I went into Walmart to get a few things, and they don't have plastic bags, which I really think the American stores need to take a hint from. They asked me if I needed a bag. I didn't have that many items, but I ended up getting like one of those tote bags, like reusable shopping bags. I didn't even see plastic bags. They had some, you know, to put your produce in, or, you know, maybe wrap meats in or things like that. But yeah, we have so many single-use plastic bags. It's ridiculous. Well, I'm just paddling along here through the north arm of Mijinemungshing Lake. And the north arm is basically like its own lake. Like, this is a big body of water. It's been a really enjoyable paddle though. It's super beautiful scenery. And I haven't seen anybody on the water today. I passed by a couple campsites. Nobody's there either, so it's a Monday, so I don't imagine there's a lot of people in the park today. I guess while I'm paddling, this will be as good a time as any to talk about my book. So I published a book last month, and it's a collection of things I've written, short pieces, essays, short stories, some poems, things of that nature, kind of all collected into one volume. It's called Northern Becomings, and I'll link it in the description. And anyway, it's available on Amazon. But it basically is just kind of how I got into doing stuff like this. You know, I grew up in the UP and did a lot of outdoor things, but I never really was like super outdoorsy. Played a lot of golf, rode snowmobiles, but not a lot of, not a lot of paddling and backcountry camping. And anyway, it kind of just goes through that process of how I got to where I'm going, that there's an end point, and, you know, just learning how to do those kinds of things, how to fish for brook trout, how to camp, and sort of how my thinking has changed too over the years. But yeah, it's called Northern Becomings. I'm pretty proud of it. It's like I said, it's mostly short stories, essays, things like that. There are some kind of fishing logs or fishing journals interspersed. So check it out if you so desire. That's a really cool site. I love campsites that have kind of perched up, have rocky points, and something kind of cool. My site's fine, but I like ones that have a little character to them. Alright, we found the portage to Mccoan Lake, and it took 2 hours of paddling to reach here, so factor that in for when I come back later. It's a very well maintained portage. They built a whole boardwalk for this section. Well, Mccoan Lake, that was a long portage, you know, 1,200 meters, 1.2 kilometers. What the heck is a kilometer? Anyway, this is a pretty big lake itself. It doesn't look terribly wavy out there though, so I go back, get the kayak, and then maybe take a lunch break before I head out and try to catch some brook trout here. Well, between paddling and portaging, taken almost 4 hours to get here, so I'm not gonna have a lot of time to fish. I'll, you know, probably make better time on the way back, or I'm gonna try to. Won't stop as often. We're gonna have some lunch quick. A PB&J I made at home, and when in Canada, well, since we're in Canada, I have a McDonald joke. Probably butcher it, but frog goes into a bank. He asks to speak with one of the loan officers, and so they show him to one of the offices, and he sits down in the chair, and he's looking around, and he sees the nameplate on the desk is Patty W, and so he's waiting for Patty to come in, and sure enough, here she comes, and you know, she introduces herself and says, "Hi, I'm Mrs. Whack, and you know, what's your name? What can I do for you?" And he says, "Well, I'm Kermit Jagger." She says, "Jagger, like Mick Jagger?" And he says, "Yeah, well, that's my dad." She doesn't believe this, and okay, Kermit Jagger, well, you know, we'll check your credit here, and we'll need some kind of collateral. And he says, okay. So they run his credit. Looks good. And she says, well, what you know, what kind of collateral do you have here that you can put on this loan? And so he reaches in his pocket, he pulls out this little pink porcelain elephant. She's looking at it and says, what is this? And so she says, well, Kermit, just give me a minute. I need to talk to my boss. And so she goes, talks to her boss, and comes in, and you know, Kermit explains the situation and says, I need a loan, and I have this, you know, for collateral. And so the manager looks at the loan officer, Patty, and he says, that elephant, it's a knick-knack, Patty Whack. Give this frog a loan. His old man's a rolling stone. Mccoan Lake was a bust, which is unfortunate given the amount of time it took to get here, and I was really looking forward to it. But I only fished a small portion of it because it took so long, and I don't want to be, you know, having to fight and paddle in the dark, so. I wonder what happened up there. I'm almost back, and good thing. There's some thunder rolling in the distance here. Alright, well, I'm glad I brought this. I've never tried one of these before, but this one looked really good. These are supposed to be pretty good. These Peak Refuel. That's chicken coconut curry, and I just toasted some naan here. Really glad I brought this guy, because getting a fire going tonight would have not been fun. Truly is amazing what dry clothes can do for your outlook on life. So I got back just as the rain started. I had to cook dinner outside in the rain, and I'd already gotten kind of wet. I was a little bit cold. But dinner was good, quick, pretty easy. Needed it. Really glad I brought that cook in the bag, freeze-dried meal. So, another night with rain. We'll see. Hopefully morning clears up. Otherwise, it's going to be bedtime pretty soon here. I think I'm going to do some reading. As you can tell, I get a lot of my book recommendations from John from Lost Lakes. And I got my Gatorade bottle here with red wine because I didn't realize Ontario you can only buy. I wanted to get some Canadian whiskey, and you can only buy liquor at the liquor control board stores. And it was closed when I came through town at 9:30 a.m. So. Day 3, getting an earlier start. Slept really good. Rain stopped sometime during the night. And it's another calm, cool morning, just like yesterday. Sensing a pattern here. So anyway, I'm getting a fire going. I'm gonna make some breakfast. It's early. I don't even think it might be 6 now. But today's plan is to just kind of explore the south end of the lake where I am. I'm gonna go. There's a channel that goes through some wetlands, the Mijinemungshing wetlands. That's supposed to be really cool. Over to Mijinemungshing Lake. So at least paddle part of that. It's not even close to as far as I went yesterday. And then I'm gonna try to do some more fishing today and actually catch some fish. So that's the game plan. This is super shallow through here. The map for this route, or for Mijinemungshing Lake, talks about it being really low water through here, because you can get to Oatmeal Lake, which is one of the most remote lakes, I believe, in the park. Watched a couple videos of people who have done trips there. Lost Lakes did, North on the Fly did, but they both started at Gamma to Gamma Lake. But there is a route from Mijinemungshing to Mirimoki, which I'm headed to now, to Old Woman. But it involves some pretty intense portaging over big hills and stuff I'm not interested in right now. So, but there's just enough water to get through here. I imagine late summer and fall, this will not be a navigable channel. So a moth flies into a podiatrist's office, and before the podiatrist can even say anything, the moth just launches into this whole life story. It says, "Doc, everything's going wrong in my life. My wife left me, my kids won't talk to me, you know, I'm having problems with my parents, you know, they're getting older, and just nothing's going right. You know, I think it all started, you know, back when I was a kid. I had a real rough time, never really fit in, and I don't know what to do. I need help, Doc. I need help." Podiatrist says, "Well, gee, sorry to hear about all that, but I'm a podiatrist. Are you sure you don't need a psychiatrist? Like, why'd you come into my office?" The moth says, "Well, the light was on." Well, that was a comedy of errors just now. I was trying to film a moose, and I caught like 2 seconds of it. There was a moose, looked like a mother and baby. The way the lighting is today, it was pretty hard to see. But there were two of them, a little one, a big one, and they came out and they kind of swam across part of a bay. And as I was trying to film, I had this dipsy diver, and it snagged something and broke the rod holder off. So I just screwed that back into place. I'll keep the light rod in that one. And still trying to catch fish. So, all right, we hooked into something on the ultralight. So if it's a lake trout, this might give this rod a workout. But note to self, don't take an ultralight rod for lake trout fishing. But I thought I was going to be doing more brook trout fishing. Nice laker. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. Easy. I'll get you back in the water. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful lake trout. All right. Farewell, Mr. Laker, sir. All right. Well, something's happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. I thought I for sure had a fish on the heavier rod, and I started reeling it, and then this ultralight went off, and I can't tell if I'm snagged or if there's a fish on. if there's a fish, it's getting down deep. And there's always the possibility that I hooked my own line again. It's been happening today for some reason. Yeah, this might be too big to keep too. Lots of nice 20-inch class lake trout in here though. Yeah, nice probably 18 to 20-inch lake trout. Got some claw marks on it. Well, I think I'm gonna go have lunch on this point here on this island. Stretch my legs. Been in the kayak a lot. It's so weird. It's like a perfect square or rectangle cut into the rock there. Okay, I got a fish on the ultralight again. The 4-inch gulp minnow again, and the Lake Clear gang troll. Hoping for a slightly smaller fish than last time, because I'd love this to be dinner, but I don't want like a 20-inch lake trout because that would just be wasteful. Come on, Laker. Alright, this one might be a little smaller than the first one. Oh, not ready to come in yet. Oh, and he broke me off. Okay, well, what are you gonna do about that? Okay, finally got one to hit. Heavier rod. Oh no. Caught my own line. I swear that was a fish though. Maybe. Last time was a false alarm. This time's on the ultralight. So I'm really gonna take it easy. Oh my gosh, it's a brook trout. It's a nice brook trout. This is gonna be cool. This is gonna be cool if I can, if I can net it. So close, it was within an inch of the net just now. Come on. It sees the net and it's like, nope. There we go. All right. A brook trout. I can't do it. I can't keep it, man. It's too big. Come on. Make this harder than it needs to be. That's what she said. Okay. Oh. Look at that. Look at that brook trout. There he goes. Back to the depths. I was gonna measure him quick, but I would say 18. I think he beat my PB from back home by over an inch. It's taking another quick break. Not ready to be done fishing, but I had to get out of the kayak again for a bit. It's been uneventful since I caught that brook trout. So I'm on a little island just checking things out. Wonder what kind of bird that shell is from. That's got to be a moose print, right? Moose scat right there. Sarah got me this 1-gallon gravity life straw filter for my birthday. This thing's been awesome. Alright, so I kind of just assembled a stew here using basically what I had left, which was dried chili mix. Just, you know, vegetarian chili. And then potatoes and peas. I'm back out on the water. The sun's peeking out, the wind's died down, and it's my last night in Canada. Got a fish, right? So, as it would turn out, the wind did not in fact die down. It still is breezy, wavy. Haven't caught a sunrise or a sunset yet on this trip. Tonight could be the night, because last night was thunderstorm and rain. The night before, clouded up and rained. So this might be my only clear night. So try to catch sunset if I can. Well, I switched out to shallow wobblers just for one last go at brook trout here. And I have something on the heavy rod. Oh wait, it is a lake trout. What? Dude, this guy was shallow. Back. Whoop. One more lake trout. One fish flop. Fish floppy. One more laker. In he goes. Well, I gotta say, this old tent is 10 years old, and despite a couple cracked poles I was able to repair, it really holds up. And like that, I am off. It's been a trip. Nice calm night. No rain. Lots of bugs this morning. Well, making my way back to the launch here. I'm almost back. And what a trip. Definitely the biggest trip I've been on, both in terms of scope, distance, just kind of all aspects. Probably the most remote trip I've been on. So this isn't like a wilderness park, you know, with no blazes, no, you know, amenities. You know, portages are signed, campsites are signed. But despite all that, it really feels like you are in the middle of nowhere. looks like a loon sitting on a nest right there. Yeah, it looked like a nesting loon right back there. That must be what that egg, that shell I saw on that one island yesterday was. I know in Sylvania Wilderness they have a rule that you can't land a canoe on any of the islands until after a certain date because of the loon nesting season.